Welcome to my Doctor Who DVD collection update.
As you can see, it's grown a lot since my last video on it, which was over a year ago. So we might as well start at the beginning with the Beginnings box set, which contains An Unearthly Child, the very first Doctor Who serial, the first episode that was broadcast is really good. The rest are meh, but I haven't seen it in a while, so yeah, I wouldn't know. Then we've got the second serial, The Daleks. It's pretty good. It's just a few parts too long, 7 episodes long, so yeah. And then The Edge of Destruction, which is literally the definition of filler. It's 2 episodes long, and it's just a bit boring. They were saving money for Marco Polo, which is missing. So, speaking of Marco Polo, the reconstruction, the half an hour long reconstruction is on this DVD. It's good, but like, Marco Polo is a 7-part story, so it probably needs more things to it. More time to it, rather. The Keys of Marinus. This is Nick Payne's favourite First Doctor story. I won't agree with you on that, but it is still enjoyable. But I don't see why people are so into the Void. Because they don't appear that much, they don't give much of an impression, but luckily Big Finish are going to try and redeem the Void. They have been doing so, yeah. Now we've got the Aztecs Special Edition. The Aztecs is probably my favourite Hartnell story. It's a contender, certainly. But it's very good. It's the earliest pure historical you can get on DVD. And it's very good. Barbara gets mistaken for a goddess, and she tries to change Aztec society, and it's one of the first times where we actually get the benefits of this being a time travel show, other than anywhere in the universe exists. So then we've got the Sensorite, which is basically the Ood before the Ood happened. It's fine. It's a fine 6-parter, but like it's not the first 6-parter I'd watch. Then we've got The Reign of Terror, which I would rather watch. It's another pure historical, and it's about the French Revolution. And it's really good. Apart from the animation of episodes 4 and 5, they are absolutely horrid. Moving on to Season 2 now, we've got Planet of Giants. Yeah, I rewatched it last year, and it was actually very good. It's a good 3-parter. Then we've got The Dalek Invasion of Earth, which I actually got at the Doctor Who Experience last year, before it closed down, and it's alright, but I would say it's a bit overhyped, in my opinion. I actually prefer the Cushing version. The only thing I prefer in this is Susan's departure. Now, I've not got much Season 2, so the last one in Season 2 I have is, well, the last one in Season 2, that being the Time Meddler. This is another contender for my favourite Hartnell story, and the Meddling Monk is great in it. And it's the first story where Stephen is a companion. It's not the first story where Stephen appears, that's The Chase, but this is the first one where he's a companion. And then we've got The Ark. Now, this is by far my least favourite Hartnell story. Boring, and yeah, it's just, and it's a bit racist, so... Then we've got The War Machines, which is probably my favourite of Season 3 so far, and another contender for my favourite Hartnell. This one's underrated. This one, not saying that people say it's bad when it's actually good. It is really good, but no one talks about it. And we've got the Lost in Time box set, which contains loads of missing episodes, or loads of surviving episodes from missing stories, some of which leave this redundant, but you can still watch plenty of episodes from different stories. I would say the most entertaining one to watch is the Celestial Toymaker, episode 4. Then we've got The Power of the Daleks Steelbook. It's a very good story. I might want to watch it again, actually, because I feel like I'll probably enjoy it more as time goes on. Because although I think this is a really good story, it's just I don't think it's clicked with me yet. Then we've got The Underwater Menace. It's got the worst reconstruction of any DVD release. Then there's The Moonbase. It's probably the best Cyberman story as a Cyberman story. because like it's the best way Cybermen were portrayed in the classic series. They've got Tomb of the Cybermen Normal Edition and Tomb of the Cybermen Special Edition. Tomb of the Cybermen is probably my first black and white Doctor Who experience. It might have been the beginning box set, but my first trouncing was definitely Tomb of the Cybermen, and it is good. It's got a place in my heart. It's not my favourite trouncing story. It's far from it, but it's certainly up there. Most of Troughton's are good. This one's overrated. Not going to talk about that one. Enemy of the World. I reviewed this last year. It is a very good story. I do recommend it. Web of Fear is also very good. Yeah, it's just very good. Sorry for the bad lighting here, so I'll hopefully try and shoot this better. The Dominators is just no. It's boring. It's honestly the most. It's 5 episodes of the same thing, rather. Mind Robber is the opposite of boring. This, Enemy of the World, and another one coming up are contenders for my favourite Troughton. Although I feel like this and Enemy are runners-up. But both are like 10 out of 10 in my opinion. The Invasion is probably the best Cyberman story as a story. It's just very good. Although the Cybermen aren't in it in the first half, that doesn't matter. It's a good story, and it's the first proper unit story. The first story where the Brigadier appeared was Web of Fear, but the Brigadier got promoted between that and the Invasion, and it's Unit's first appearance. So yeah, The Crotons is the first story by Robert Holmes, and I like it. I like it. That's all I can really say. Seeds of Death, I might give it another chance, but I was just bored of it when I watched it. I call this the Ice Warrior Curse. War Games is probably my favourite Patrick Troughton story. It's a 10-part epic. It's written well from start to finish. I just think it's just really good. Spearhead from Space. It's probably my least favourite of Season 7, but still very good. It's first colour Doctor Who story, and the best part about it is Liz Shaw, in my opinion, the companion. She's great. Doctor and the Silurians, 7-parter. It's very good. It's not my favourite Homo Reptilia story, but, you know. Ambassadors of Death is probably my favourite of Season 7. Season 7 is one of my favourite seasons of Doctor Who, even though I'm not the hugest fan of I say it's my favourite of the season and I drop it. I'm not the hugest fan of Pertwee, but like Season 7 is really good, so yeah. Inferno is also amazing. This Silurians and Ambassadors are really stellar. I just feel like Spearhead's the weak link, and it's a shorter one, so it's a more sizable length, which is annoying. Then we've got Colony in Space. I would say this is underrated. It's Season 8, and yeah, it's alright. The Daemons, or the Demons, or however you pronounce it, it didn't exactly click with me. I don't know why. It's good. Usually stories that don't click with me in Classic Who are still really good. I still find them really enjoyable. I don't flat out hate any stories that don't click with me, so yeah, but stories are allowed to not click with me. Sea Devils is probably my favourite Homo Reptilia story. It's basically Doctor and the Silurians done better, underwater, and with the Master. And 1 part less. Time Monster, worst Pertwee story. Not even Roger Delgado could save that, you know? So then we've got the 3 Doctors Normal Edition, and the 3 Doctors Special Edition. It's a good anniversary story. My Cybermen are falling down. I'll pick them up after I finish this row. And then we've got Carnival of Monsters. So far it's my least favourite of Season 10. But it's still very good in my opinion. It's got the Drashigs in it. I do actually have the original edition, and it's got better artwork in it. But I lost the actual disc, so I don't display it. So we've got the Green Death, Joe's final story, and I prefer this cover to the special edition cover, so that's why I have it. I mean, it's not why I have it. It's the first like copy of the Green Death I saw to get. So yeah, and then we've got starting out season 11, The Time Warrior, Sarah Jane's first story, the first story to feature the Sontarans, and it's just very good. On to the next row. Right, so next up we have Death of the Daleks. It's the only Pertwee Dalek story I've seen. It's very good. It's got Exelons in it, and it's, yeah. Skype, please. Moving on to Tom Baker in season 12, we've got The Ark in Space. I honestly think it's one of my favourite Hinchcliffe era stories. It's basically Alien before Alien did Alien. Sontaran Experiment. People say it's underrated. I agree to an extent, but I do not think it's the best thing ever. But I wouldn't recommend it to people that have seen only New Who before. I would as an early one, but not as like the first one. I do just recommend getting season 12. It's coming out on Blu-ray, so that's a good opportunity. I'll probably get that. I'm gonna make it my goal to get most of the new releases. I skipped out on Enemy of the World Special Edition. I might get that, but I don't know. I mean, it is one of my favourite stories, and special features, yeah, so I might get it. I don't have Genesis of the Daleks because I'm an idiot. I've seen it before, so it's not been top priority for me. But yeah, Terror of the Zygons is the Zygon story. It's good. It's good. I like it. And it's also Harry's last story. Harry was introduced in Robot and was all throughout season 12. So next up, we've got Pyramids of Mars. It's the story of Sutekh. Sutekh's a great villain, but when I watched Pyramids of Mars, it didn't click with me. Really? Brain of Morbius. Yeah, I prefer Pyramids of Mars to this. I mean, people herald this as a classic, but there's a lot better Hinchcliffe ones out there, in my opinion, and Morbius as a character is overrated, but it's a good interpretation of Frankenstein, I guess. Deadly Assassin, The Matrix before The Matrix did The Matrix. Basically Gallifreyan politics. People say that this sort of ruins Gallifreyan politics, or Gallifreyan society, really. But I can see past that because it's just really good. It's got the Return of the Master, and they go into the Matrix and stuff. Robots of Death is Leela's first adventure in the TARDIS. It's not her first story, but Robots of Death. This is the special edition, and it's good. Yeah, I like it. It's by the guy that script edited Blake 7, so there we go. Talons of Weng-Chiang. That's not Talons. This is Talons. Talons of Weng-Chiang original edition. Yeah, it's the last Hinchcliffe era story, and it's probably my favourite. And plus, it has Jago and Lightfoot in it. Horrorfang Rock is the first Graham Williams era story, but they were clearly in the Hinchcliffe era mindset because this is more. It feels more like a Hinchcliffe era story, Philip Hinchcliffe era story. So yeah. Underworld is a lot of people say it's the worst Tom Baker story. To be honest, I prefer this to Invasion of Time. Not by much though. And plus, bad effects don't usually bother me. It's only when it's bad chroma key that I really start to get irked. This is Bad Chroma Key, the serial. 4 episodes of pretty much pure bad chroma key. Invasion of Time. Basically, this is the point where I'm like, yeah, Gallifrey just needs to chill. Just no. Invasion of Time, I really don't like it. I don't mind the Vardans, but the Doctor is just everything about it I just really don't like. And it could have. I mean, I would prefer it to Underworld if it weren't for the last 2 episodes of the Sontarans. Just honestly, in the War Games, they were gods. This time, they can be invaded by Sontarans. Leela leaves in this in a horrid way. As much as I like Leela and like her being alive in the Gallifrey audio series, I would rather have her died. I honestly feel like Philip Hinchcliffe should have been in one more season. It should have done one more season and killed Leela. That would have been better for the show. But Key to Time season. Oh boy. Got the Ribos operation. Introduces Romana. And it's very good. It's a strong opener to the season, in my opinion. It's not one of my favourite stories of all time, but it's a strong opener. The Pirate Planet. Douglas Adams' first episode of Doctor Who. Or, well, part 1 was, let's say, his first serial. It's very good. Stones of Blood is my favourite of the season. It's just very... I could almost see this being a more light-hearted Hinchcliffe era story. It can fit in the Hinchcliffe era, in my opinion. Android of Tara is where the season starts to fall a bit, because this isn't that great. It's watchable, but yeah. Power of Kroll. First time I watched it, it's garbage. Second time I watched it, I started to like it a bit, but like, it's not good, but it's a guilty pleasure of mine, let's say. Armageddon Factor's the worst of the season. It has Lala Ward in it, who would later be Romana in the very next story. And it's a six-parter. Six-parters haven't been doing well since Hinchcliffe left, as you can see. I mean, the next six-parter would have been good if it were made. Yeah, it also features the character Drax, and he's quite nice. City of Death, my favourite Tom Baker story, by Douglas Adams, Graham Williams, based on a story by David Fisher. It's very good. I will review it one day, probably like next year, probably when it turns 40, for Universals. Hopefully I'll stay for that long. Horns of Nimon is rubbish. I like the Nimon, but I do not like the Horns of Nimon. And I don't even think that it's so bad it's good. I just really don't like the Horns of Nimon. Got the Shada 1992 VHS version, but its official DVD release. It's good, but I honestly feel like this is the definitive version of Shada. I would rather that the new 2017 Shada animation was split up into six parts, but it's fine as a movie length. It's fine. Time for the New Beginnings box set. Keeper of Traken is really boring. I've not seen the Gopolis for a while, so I can't really comment on that, but I remember it being a bit bland. Castrovalva itself was a bit bland, but I prefer the story to its first part, because first part was just the Doctor and companions in the TARDIS, and the rest of the story is actually alright. It's not good, but it's not the worst thing ever. Earthshock is actually really good because Adric dies. And Cybermen are in it, so it's what I call my favourite Cyberman story of the 80s. If we're not counting the 5 Doctors, then probably. And then we've got the Time Flight Arc Infinity box set. Why are these two together? It's they're both rubbish and they know it, so the only way you can get one of them is if you get both of them. So that's probably their plan. That was probably the BBC's plan. Time Flight. I nearly got the novelisation for this actually last year. Not last year, 2 years ago actually. Nearly 2 years ago. I might have actually already mentioned that in the last one, but oh well. Time Flight is just terribly written, overambitious, pointless in some aspects, and a terrible way to end the season. Arc of Infinity, Return of Omega. Yeah, it's the Return of Omega, Return of Tegan after she left in Time Flight, and it's literally the next story. That's why I keep them in the box set. It's not good. It's not good at all. As you can tell, I don't really like the Peter Davison era. Mordrin Undead, I think it's alright. I like it. I like it. It's the Return of the Brigadier. It's a good story. It also introduces Turlo, and also the Black Guardian returns. For the Black Guardian trilogy, I mean, sure, the main theme is that the Black Guardian's back, but he's hardly in it. So, yeah. Terminus, really awful exit for Nyssa. It's really boring as well, and Nyssa cared a little. It's a better exit than Leela, but it's still pretty bad. Enlightenment. It's an okay story. It's got Linda Barron in it. She played that lady in Come Outside, and that is childhood. But other than that, the story isn't that noteworthy, other than ending the Black Guardian trilogy and making the Doctor trust Turlough a bit. So, King's Demons. It's a two-parter. It introduces Chameleon. It's one of his 2 appearances, and yep, the Master's back again. This is like the 3rd time the 5th Doctor has battled the Master on screen. And it's 3rd one. Oh my gosh, I have all the 5th Doctor Master stories now. I've just realised that. Then we've got the 5 Doctors, which I have the sleeve for it. I keep it in the sleeve. The sleeve, I believe, is rare now, so I've got a good collector's item here. It's not the only collector's item I have, really, I guess, but I like it. It's my favourite anniversary story, probably because of nostalgia. Like, it's a shallow reason, but I also like it as a story, and to be honest, although it is pretty fan-wanky, it's an anniversary story, so it should be. Warriors of the Deep, easily the worst Homo Reptilia story, and I'm not counting all the stories with Jenny and Vastra and Strax and all that. I'm not counting any of those, and I'm not counting dinosaurs on a spaceship either. But oh well. Then we've got Resurrection of the Daleks. Nyssa leaves, but it's the return of the Daleks and Davros. The first time they appeared in about 5 years. Not 5 years, but about 5 years. It's the first time Terry Malloy plays Davros. This is the special edition. And yeah, Terry Malloy is easily my favourite Davros. Without a doubt. Planet of Fire. Turlough leaves, the Chameleon dies, and Perry joins. Also, it's probably other than the 5 Doctors, this is probably my favourite story to feature the Master and the 5th Doctor. Twin Dilemma, one of my first classic Doctor Who experiences. Oh boy, I got this on Friday the 13th, when I got it, so that was like 2009-ish? I don't think it's 2009. No, I think it might have been 2010. I think it must have been 2010, if not 2011. Attack of the Cybermen. Yeah, I would say this is pretty good. It's pretty violent. Okay, it really... I'm gonna choose my words carefully here, but depending if I like Earthshock more, I might like this more. I don't know. I've not seen Earthshock for a little bit. I watched it last year at some point, but I don't know. Vengeance on Varos is my favourite 6th Doctor story. And it's got Syl in it, it's got violence in it, it's just Philip Martin is just probably my favourite 6th Doctor writer. Well, on TV. Big Finish is a very different story, because Robert Sherman exists. Mark of the Rani. I've got every 6th Doctor story, by the way, and every 2nd Doctor story you can get on DVD as well, so yeah. Mark of the Rani is probably the only good Pip and Jane Baker story, and it's good. I like the Rani. I like the Rani as a character. 2 Doctors. I like this. Sontaran's Tool. I like it. It's probably my 2nd favourite of the season, though. But it's... Yeah, it's not perfect, but I do like it. Just... Seriously. Right, bottom row. There's not as much stuff here, so yeah. Time Lash. Only watchable because of Paul Darrow and Colin Baker's response to Paul Darrow. Revelation of the Daleks. Graham Harper's 2nd outing as director. It's very well directed. Although granted, it's probably my least favourite Dalek story of the 80s. However, I do like it. It is a solid story, and Davros is great in it. Oh boy, Trial of a Time Lord, Season 23. Hands down, Mysterious Planet's my least favourite.
and it's Robert Holmes' last full story. If you count this as its own separate story. The trial bits make it entertaining, and the opening model shot's great, and the score is great, the theme tune's great, but other than that, yeah. Now, Mind Warp's the opposite. Everything about it is great, apart from the trial scenes. They are annoying. Terror of the Vervoids is probably my other guilty pleasure story, other than Power of Kroll. It's not good, but I find enjoyment out of it, or I found enjoyment out of it on first watch. This is the only time I've watched it. So, and then you've got the final two parts of Trial of a Time Lord. You've got the ultimate foe. Final time that Sixth Doctor and the Master would duke it out. Other than Mark of the Rani was the only other time that the Sixth Doctor and the Master duked it on screen. Alright, but the second episode's a bit rubbish because, Pip and Jane Baker, yeah. Dragonfire!
So, since recording this, I have actually watched Dragonfire. It's really boring, but Ace is good, Seventh Doctor's alright. Apart from that infamous cliffhanger to part 1.
Remembrance of the Daleks, I have the old cover. I have the old edition, really old one. Yeah, it's really good. It's my favourite Dalek story of Classic Who. Happiness Patrol, underrated, completely underrated. It's a brilliant story. Greatest Show in the Galaxy is my favourite of season 25. It's just really good. So amazing. Okay, I'm gonna basically give the McCoy era tongue baths because it's my favourite era of Classic Who. Then we've got Battlefield, the weakest story in season 26, but it's still really good. Ghostlight's next, could have really done well with an extra part. Although granted, apparently Battlefield was originally going to be 3 and Ghostlight was originally going to be 4, but which I feel like would have benefited both stories. So yeah, Chris Fenric, really good. Survival, really good. I find it hard to decide which one is my favourite out of season 26. It's not Battlefield, but Ghostlight, Fenric, and Survival are all really good. It's my favourite season of Doctor Who of all time. So yeah. More Than 30 Years in the TARDIS documentary. It's a good documentary. I recommend it. TV movie. Only appearance of Paul McGann. I recommend it. It's an enjoyable watch, but it's not a good story. Scream of the Shalka. It's good. I recommend it. It's an alternate take on the future of Doctor Who. I guess. It was originally intended to be official Doctor Who before it came back. It's completely animated though, so yeah. It's by Paul Cornell. It's the earliest thing by Paul Cornell that you'll see here. Ooh, Series 1. I'll talk about the series as a whole. It's my favourite series of New Who. I would say the Slevene two-parter is the worst. Because it just doesn't. It's so bad it's good. It's so bad it's funny, but it's not. Yeah, and the long game is the least good out of the rest. So yeah. Series 2. It's a bit iffy, but it has some strong points, certainly. I will get the Series 3 Steelbook at some point, but not. But hopefully I'll get it soon. But yeah, I might already have it by the time this video goes out. But I don't know. The Runaway Bride. It's Donna's first appearance, and it's a week Christmas special. Next Doctor, probably my favourite Christmas special from the RTD era. It's not that great, but I have nostalgia for it. The specials, which contains Next Doctor, Planet of the Dead, Wars of Mars, and End of Time. I've already said what I think about the Next Doctor. It's not that great, but it's my favourite Christmas special from the RTD era. Planet of the Dead is a bit rubbish. Wars of Mars is amazing. It's not my favourite David Tennant, but it's one of them. And End of Time is one of my least favourite Doctor Who stories of all time. Series 5 Volume 3, I got that randomly as a kid one day. Oh gosh, I can say that now without correcting myself because I'm 16. But yeah, it contains Amy's Choice, which is a very good story. It was a very good episode, and the Silurian two-parter, which is by Chris Chibnall, who's going to be taking over Doctor Who. Day of the Doctor. I remember when I got this DVD for Christmas in 2013, I couldn't stop watching it. But now I'm like, it's a decently written story, just I hate what it represents. And not only that, some bits are a bit... it's not... It should be more fan-wanky to Classic Who, in my opinion, but it should be to New Who as well. It should be a 50th anniversary special, not a New Who celebration. Series 10 Steelbook. Series 10 is my second favourite season of New Who, and it's really good, in my opinion. There are a lot more weak points in Series 1, but to be honest, it's really good. I'm sad I don't have the Series 9 Steelbook. If I can find it for a cheap price, I would get it, hopefully with these cardboard bits still there. And then we've got the Peter Cushing Dalek movies. I remember having these as a kid, and they were enjoyable. And I've got Complete Torchwood. I've not seen the whole of Miracle Day.
Update, I have actually watched Miracle Day now. I like it. It's good. But I can see why people don't like it for the fact that it's not Welsh enough.
I remember I watched Miracle Day when it was coming out, but my mum stopped me from watching it like halfway through because Captain Jack was sleeping with a guy. Oh boy. I've watched all of Torchwood up until Miracle Day since then, and it's really good. Some bits are a bit iffy, especially in Series 1, but it gets better and better, in my opinion. And I guess now I might as well show you the top bit. So here we go. We've got an Imperial Dalek from Remembrance of the Daleks, a Special Weapons Dalek from Remembrance of the Daleks, Cybermen from the 10th Planet, Moonbase and Tomb of the Cybermen, and the Invasion. And then we've got the Regenerations box set, which features the 10th Planet, which I really enjoy, the War Games, which I've already said what I think of that. Although the 10th Planet, I enjoy it more as a story rather than a regeneration story, because it doesn't really feel like a proper regeneration story. They always have different feels, even the Gopolis, but 10th Planet is just more like a story that you would casually watch, rather. Although granted, I do casually watch some regeneration stories, not because they're regeneration stories, but like this one with the 10th Planet is even more casual. It just so happens to have a regeneration in it. War Games, I've already expressed my opinions on that. Planet of the Spiders is really good, but I would have rather have seen the long game. Not the long game, the final game, sorry. Logopolis is boring, but it's better. It's the better out of the two season 18 stories I've seen. Cave of Trandazani is an absolute classic. It just is really, really good. Wow, people say it's the best story, and I feel like that's more of an objective opinion at this point, because it's got a world's record at this point as the most popular Doctor Who story. Time in the Rani is one of my least favourite Doctor Who stories of all time. It just is. TV movie, I've already talked about that. Battle of Parting of the Ways, I've already expressed how I feel about Series 1, which I'm just going to say, it's really good. Battle of Parting of the Ways is actually one of the better ones, in my opinion, of Series 1. End of Time, I've already expressed how I feel about that. One of the worst Doctor Who stories ever. But yeah, that's the collection. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.